What's good, my people? Welcome into No Ketchup Sports Talk via Chicago. I am your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me as always. We are off and running NFL Week 3 in the books. We have a lot to talk about, and we're going to talk a ton about the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams, Shane Waldron, Matt Eberflus, and what's going on over there. But first, let's kick it off. Hey, man. That's the little segment. We got a couple things we got to talk about, including Arthur Blank putting himself in the Ring of Honor in Atlanta on Sunday Night Football. Bears, fourth down speed options. What we doing here? Is this exactly where we thought we would be? We did the hopeful blinders cover our eyes, and now we knew we are at where we thought we would be in the first place. Around the shield, around the NFL, our pound for pound, is Matt LaFleur the best coach in the NFL? He's got Malik Willis playing ball. Steelers, Jay Field resurgence. Dolphins, Cowboys, Browns. Are they all finished? Shaky quarterbacks gambling. I put money on Will Levis, man. We'll talk about it. No Ketchup Sports Talk via Chicago. Let's get to it.
Now look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
Big Nick the Quick. What's happening?
How we feeling? Week 3.
I'm only on one cup of coffee today.
Oh man, I'm already on 3.
Yeah.
I'm charged up. I'm charged up, man. Had a busy day yesterday. I don't think I moved for 10 straight hours. Like, this was the first Sunday where I was just fully
posted.
Really posted. Just posted up tough. Had a busy week of travel. I was looking forward to it all week. Didn't do anything. It was raining outside, so there was no reason to even leave the house. You know, sometimes you feel compelled to, catch a couple rays. There was none of that. It was perfect.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely feel you. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good weekend.
Yep.
In New York City. Kicked it. But Sunday is always the best. You just get back to the crib, kick your feet up, get some grub, and watch ball. And that's exactly what we're about to talk about. But first things first, man. Hey, man. Arthur Blank, Sunday Night Football, Big Nick the Quick, put himself in the Ring of Honor in his own stadium. Hey, man, look. You own the team, all right, my brother. First of all, you don't got no titles. We can start there. I'm trying to figure out the thought process. Like, you know, when these decisions are made, Nick, people are sitting down around a table and everybody's like, so what do you think about, Arthur putting his name in the Ring of Honor? Or did Arthur just walk in like, yeah, we putting my shit on the Ring of Arthur, the Ring of Honor versus the Chiefs. This is what we're doing.
I think that has to be what it is, because usually a Ring of Honor is for people who are no longer actively involved in the franchise. Like, if you had told me, like, oh, they're going to put Julio Jones in the Ring of Honor. If you had told me they're going to put Mike Vick in the Ring of Honor. If you had told me they're going to put, shout out, Michael the Burner Turner in the Ring of Honor. Somebody like that, I'd be like, okay, I understand. Arthur Blank still currently owns the team. He is the owner of the Atlanta Falcons. It is his team. So you're honoring him as he currently owns the team. To your point, he hasn't won any titles. Whatever. I think that's almost secondary. I think the biggest thing is he currently owns the team. And any decision that goes through the Atlanta Falcons ultimately gets signed off by Arthur Blank, meaning that at some point in time, he either A, came up with this idea, or B, at the very least, signed off on it and was like, yes, this is a good idea. So I thought it was hilarious, man. They shot to Goodell and his wife. They're like, Goodell's in the building tonight, obviously to catch the game with his wife, but he's here for Arthur Blank's Ring of Honor. And I immediately started just dying. I should have hit you and just been like, hey, what are we doing here? But
wait, what?
I'm happy we brought it up this morning.
Hey, and I'm all, look, man, you know what I'm saying? You've had a great life. You got your bread. I think it's the Home Depot money is where he got his bread.
Home Depot money. Yeah, he's got a lot of money.
He got the Home Depot bread. He's been a decent
stadium
owner throughout the years. Great building down there. I've been there a few times. Mercedes-Benz, get down there if you can. Food is cheap. Beautiful building.
Cheap. Yeah.
I've actually seen football. I saw the Falcons and I've seen MLS. They got the big MLS squad down there. Everybody seems to love. Yeah, all good.
Great job.
Hey man, the classy way to go about this would be like, hey man, put it, talk to your people, and hey, when I pass, put me up in the ring of honor, man. I would like that. That'd be cool. To decide you're gonna go in the ring of honor and walk down on the field and wave to the crowd. Thank you thank you for allowing me into the ring of honor that you put in and decided is a little hilarious. So, hey man, we talk about not giving people their flowers before they go. Well, Arthur Blank wasn't taking no chances, my bro.
Listen,
He's
man.
going.
Hey, y'all are gonna honor me.
Flowers. Yeah, I'm giving
honor me.
out flowers.
I'm not waiting for nothing. All right. I want y'all to tell me how great I am. Thank you so much. First off, I want to thank the Falcons organization, aka myself.
I want to thank the Falcons organization.
What kind of speech do you give, right? I remember when I first bought this team, shout out to him, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, listen though, man. When you got that kind of money, you do what you want. Arthur Blank's not worried about what we think about it this morning.
That's
Arthur
a
Blank
fact.
Said, God damn it, I'm going to the Ring of Honor on a Sunday night, and that's what's going to happen. So
Arthur Blank feeling good.
Hey, I'm signing off on the check. Tell Roger he better be out here too. Roger better come out here. Whoever else is available better come out here too.
Because I pay his check too. Because we pay his salary.
I pay all of y'all, so everybody's coming out. I want the whole organization here.
Yeah. Hey, look, we always talk about not giving folks their flowers. Well, Arthur Blank was taking no chances. He went down the street and picked up his own flowers. So I feel it. Man. Hey man, that's funny. That needed to be talked about.
Nobody loves you like you love yourself. So shout out Arthur Blank, man.
Hey man, look, stop recording athletes out in the street. Stop recording celebrities and then tricking on them. They can't live their regular life. CJ Abrams of the Nationals gets caught, I don't know, playing roulette, blackjack, Bally's downtown, Chicago. It gets to who it needs to get to, and he gets demoted, man. They sent him down to the minors. Ends up costing him like $30K on a game check. I don't know if they brought him back up or whatever.
Oh, I did hear about this. Okay, yeah. He was there till like 3 in the morning, right?
They said it was 8.
Till 8 in the morning?
They said they had a day game, 120 at Wrigley. He was at the casino at 8.
That's rough.
Now, if I see now,
he thought he was Mike. Mike.
Yeah, look, and he didn't help. He went 0 for 3 in the game. Yeah, but like 8. Now
hey,
look,
listen. On a road trip, that's not Vegas. Yeah, 8. That's rough.
In Chicago, 8.
He must have been on a heater.
He must have been doing something.
Or he was chasing relentlessly.
Or he was chasing.
The epic chase.
Yeah. So CJ, but it happens all the time.
Yeah.
So CJ ends up getting caught, ends up going up the food chain. Lamar Jackson is on a jet.
Wait, real quick, is he a star, CJ Abrams, or is he? Because
most
baseball
a young
players
dude.
because most baseball players could be inconspicuous and be there and you wouldn't even know. But is he the type of guy you would recognize?
Yeah, young dude. He just made his first All-Star team.
Okay, so he's okay. Yeah, it's not like some random third baseman who's just chilling. Yeah, okay. Not a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's a problem because I feel like I don't get the I guess people want to report stuff and have fun with it, I guess. Nah. But I don't get it. I don't really get it. And
I don't
Lamar
like the
Jackson
reporting culture either. It's out of control.
Yeah, shit is corny. And Lamar Jackson, Marlon Humphreys is recording Lamar Jackson on the private flight back to post game last night after the Cowboys game. Hey Lamar, how you feel about getting the win? Lamar clearly trying to chill. He not worried about talking to Lamar Humphreys, but it is what it is. So, hey man, stop recording folks if you don't got to, man. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's all. Yeah, let's get to the topic at hand before we run out of time here on No Ketchup. We got to start with the Chicago Bears. That's our squad. And it's also one of the biggest talking points in the NFL, I would say. It's important what's going on out there in Chicago.
My man said out there in Chicago. Oh, boy. Everybody hear that? Out there in Chicago. We got a New Yorker on our hands. National TV guy. Hey, remove that Chicago flow. That's Brooklyn flow, right? Over there where y'all are.
This is a national show.
Oh man, no,
this is a national KETCHUP national show. We talk everything across the country. So in Chicago, my hometown, you know, they go to Indianapolis.
Oh,
the number going in, they're a short underdog, +1.5. A very, very, very winnable game. You're not gonna see quarterback play from the opposing team that poor. They lose 21-16. I'll let you kick it off, Big Nick the Quick. There's a lot of things going on here. Late touchdown makes it closer than it even looked for the teaser people out there in the street. Caleb throws for 325 plus, but he also threw it 50 plus times.
52
the run
times
game
last week, 43 last week, I think.
The rush game is legitimately non-existent. And by the way, going into the game, let me give you some numbers, Big Nick the Quick. Going into the game, the Colts 29th in overall expected points added. The pass defense was 31st in EPA. 29th in third down percentage allowed, 26th in the red zone, 24th in points allowed per drive. So the defense is shit. So a bad defense that we looked to have an opportunity to expose and did the opposite.
And you add that to a quarterback who, at every opportunity, it seemed like wanted to give the game to the Bears, right? I'm sure Anthony Richardson is a great guy. I understand that there are some physical skills there that you just can't coach, right? We saw some plays. We all saw the throw in week 1, 70 yards in the air on a rope. Like, there's a lot of that there, and I understand how tantalizing it could be. Those interceptions, those turnovers, the decision-making, the accuracy or lack thereof, non-existent, and those turnovers are egregious, right? Like, so far this year, we've seen Will Levis and Anthony Richardson, and these have to be two of the worst turnover quarterbacks in the NFL. I know we're going to talk a little bit about the no-fly zone for gambling later, but I can tell you that Anthony Richardson is firmly parked in the no-fly zone for me after yesterday's performance, right? So with all that being said, 100% agree, 100% winnable game, and the Bears at no point in time, and again, the late score makes it deceiving. The Bears did not score until the field goal in the third quarter. Offense was non-existent. Same problems that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. We can talk about the offensive line. We can talk about the play calling. I know we'll get to that fourth down call, but even beyond that fourth down call, still plenty of situations where it's 2nd and 5 or 6, and we're looking for 30. It's 3rd and 4. We're looking for 30. We're running empty backfields. We're not doing anything that even involves max protection. It's still teams beating us 4 on 5. Mind you, 4 on 5. So understand what happens when a team is rushing 4. That is 7 guys left to stop the potential pass play. So Caleb is seeing nothing but guys in his face, and then when he looks forward, a ton of traffic, right? Dropping 7, not allowing them to do anything. He's still trying to make plays that aren't there. It was all messy, man. It couldn't get any worse. And again, you're wasting another great defensive effort. If we want to be completely honest, this defense is lights out, right? There are some opportunities in this defense, in particular with the pass rush, but absent of a pass rush, this defense is still playing excellent, and you're wasting it, and they kept you in that game, and you couldn't do anything about it. So again, I know I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, but that's just how I'm feeling, man. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. We've been talking about it on this show for years. I've been saying it for years. You build from the trenches, and those are two areas where the Bears are completely missing, right? Your offensive line and defensive line, you're not getting anything. So while it's nice to have all these shiny toys, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen when he plays, Rome Odunze, if you can't block anybody, it doesn't matter. DeAndre Swift, 13 carries, 9 of them up the middle. I don't understand.
Yeah, in post-game, they asked him. They said, "Where's your frustration level?" He said it's high. Because
Who?
I think we're also DeAndre Swift said that. They asked him, "Where's your frustration level with the run game?" He said high. And we're also getting to the point where it's like DeAndre Swift is garbage, and it's like, no, I don't think that's true either.
It's not what
There's
I do.
absolutely nowhere to go.
What they're doing is, and you're playing them out of position. It's like putting a slot receiver at tight end. It's not what I do. I am a explosive guy. You need to get me out in space. I need to get the ball in space. I thought we talked about this in the group chat. I thought he was fine in the passing game. That's the type of back he is. He is not Derrick Henry. You can't run him out of a single backfield, send him up the 2-hole and be like, yeah, man, make it happen. That's not what he does.
I tweeted out, they're running DeAndre Swift up the middle like he's Earl Campbell.
Yeah.
It's not what he does. And I was under the impression when he came to town, okay, we got the big boy back in Juice Herbert. Mm-hmm. We got the because if you remember, it was bruiser on bruiser. It was David Montgomery, and then we had another bruiser in Khalil Herbert. It was two bruisers.
I love it. Hey, it's talking my language.
So then I'm like, okay, we're going to go get a guy that can make stuff happen in space. And then we have a bruiser that could, similar to what's going on in Detroit. We got Gibbs who can make things happen in space. And then when it's time to pick up 3 or 4, we give it to Montgomery. We'd give it to Herbert. Roshan Johnson looked a little better yesterday as well. But that was what I thought. 3 weeks in a row, we've come out and been trying to pound the rock up the middle with no push, no offensive line strategy, no zone reads. It's just ISOs up the middle with DeAndre Swift, and he's getting cracked. Let's get to the real elephant in the room. Caleb Williams has shown tons of flashes of like, I see it. It's there. Let's just get the guy opportunity to where he can show this as much as possible. I've seen the spin out of the pocket, rolling left, throw back right on the money for 12 yards. He did that yesterday. I've seen the deep ball completion. I've seen him miss a couple deep balls as well. But I see the vision. I never really saw the Trubisky vision of him being a great quarterback. I saw the vision with Justin Fields of being a great quarterback, but the staff and what was going on behind the scenes just was never conducive to making him into a great player.
And he wasn't as complete a quarterback as I think that Caleb probably is at this point, even though we haven't got a chance to see it. Yeah.
Correct. Mm-hmm. I see the flashes with Caleb Williams. Let's talk about some of these decisions. There is never a time in the NFL you should be calling a timeout after a touchdown.
Yeah, never seen it.
Nick,
I had never seen it.
Nick, I actually sat down and was trying to figure out a situation where it would be like, oh, maybe you score a touchdown at the end of the game and you need a 2-point conversion. You're going for a 2-point conversion to win, and you come out and you don't like the look. Timeout.
Yeah, absolutely. The clock is not running, so there's no even in a fourth quarter with 1 second left, you don't do it because the clock is not. It's a non-clocked play. It was unbelievable.
The fact that no one seemed to know that they were going for 2 after a score there is purely coaching. Wrong team running out on the field. Purely coaching. Nick, you know what it might be? We're not even expecting to score. We're so worried about trying to score, we're not thinking about what happens after that.
Yep.
It's like, man, let's just hope we can score this motherfucker.
Yeah.
If we score, oh, damn, we actually did score. Let's try to figure, we got to go for 2, timeout. Well, what are we doing? So that all falls on Matt Eberflus and the coaching staff.
Without a doubt. And you can even take it back to going into half. If you remember going into half, the Bears got very lucky that they got that one. I mean, they didn't make anything out of it, but they got that 1 second left to run that Hail Mary at the end of the half, because the play before that, linemen are walking up to the ball. This is situational football. What happens in that situation? You get to the line of scrimmage as fast as possible and you clock the ball, right? You spike the ball to stop the clock. Caleb is trying to get guys to go. Linemen are literally walking to the line. That is unprepared. That falls on head coaching. So, yeah, you take it to that touchdown. To your point, I can't think of any time where I called you right away. I said, did he just call a timeout after a touchdown because you had the wrong guys on the field? Like, what are you doing out there? Are you too busy watching the Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze let me hide the ball from you celebration to not understand that you are in the midst of situational football right now? You need to have that play ready. That play should be worked on throughout the week. Hey, if we find ourselves, the good teams, they work on all that shit throughout the week so that when it happens in a game, everybody knows what to do. You practice that stuff. You practice 2-minute drills. You practice situational football if you are a good football team. It was clear they didn't. There shouldn't even been a thought. If I'm Santos, I'm sitting on the bench still after that touchdown. I'm not even thinking about getting up. I'm not even grabbing my helmet because we practiced this. He continually fails in situational football things. He continually fails in game management, right? We talked about last week with the dumb challenges. Those cost timeouts. You talk about this week burning that timeout. Then they burned another timeout later in the fourth quarter. So you're left in the game with one timeout left, and you're trying to drive down the field. These are the things that even if you are a coach who's out there calling the plays, which he's not, you have to be rock solid on this. We're going to talk about the Steelers and Mike Tomlin later. We know Mike Tomlin doesn't know where the playbook is. Has no input, doesn't call the plays. That's not what he's here for. He is managing the game, managing the week, and managing the situations. So you don't see stuff like that. My job is to manage the game. Eberflus is not doing that, right? So many different decisions, man. We can go throughout the entire year. They're lucky they won that first game. Had it not been for Will Levis throwing, again, one of the most egregious turnovers we may ever see when they're up in a game and driving down the field about to score a field goal, the Bears are 0-3 with no hope. Absolutely zero hope. So yeah, man, this is it falls on Eberflus. It falls on the organization for, again, not understanding where they were with the offensive line and defensive line. And again, I love toys, man. I love receivers. I love gadget running backs. But I know that no matter what, give me Brady, give me Mahomes, give me Joe Montana, give me Johnny Unitas. I have never seen a quarterback throw from their back. Never seen it. I don't care who it is. So you talk about Caleb and all these flashes that he has. They're absolutely there. But he has no time to do anything. He's just playing in hero mode. This is how quarterbacks develop bad habits. I was watching Kyler Murray yesterday. Kyler Murray's a lot of fun to watch, man. Highlight plays, all that. But all that losing that he did early in his career, he has some terrible habits. He's just out there throwing the ball. If you watch some of that Cardinals game yesterday, he's just out there launching the ball. Bad habits.
And sometimes you have a game like last week where you're perfect and you throw 4 touchdowns. Then the next week, it's not as tuned. Yes, you can't play ball like that. Week to week in the NFL.
And week to week in the NFL, you can't. So that's where we're at with Caleb, man. The offensive line is atrocious. Like atrocious. This is one of the Bears have had some lines before where I'm like, man, this is bad. This is one of the worst. These guys can't block anybody. I mean, they honestly cannot block anybody. He has no time to do anything. And I know, again, we'll get to that 4th down call. But even before that, watch that whole drive. Do you remember the 2nd down? He had DeAndre Carter trying to chip a defensive end. DeAndre Carter is your 6th receiver and a special teams guy, and you have him trying to chip Kyle Van Noy. And after the play, Carter looks at the sidelines and is like, what are you doing? This is not what I do. What are we doing here? Why is he in there in that situation? What personnel package at the goal line says let's put DeAndre Carter on the edge to block a pass rusher that's 3 times his size?
Yeah, it's just not the design. It has no business being there. Also, no business. This is 2 straight weeks also of Cole Kmet getting absolutely beat like a drum by pass rushers that he can't handle. He's not a blocking tight end. This is not George Kittle.
And that's okay. Yeah, this isn't Gronkowski.
Right. So he's great in the pass game, but this is multiple weeks in a row now where he's getting smoked on blocking assignments.
And why is Mercedes Lewis on the roster then if you don't use him in that situation?
And speaking of Mercedes Lewis, salute to my brother, man. 40 years old, still in the league. He needs no snaps. Let him chat with whoever and bring them morale. That's 2 snaps, 2 false starts, 2 weeks in a row.
It's bad.
He doesn't need to be on the field, bro. From what I could tell, we have other people. We got Gerald Everett. We have Cole Kmet. He doesn't need to be on the pitch at all. So
just sign a blocking tight end.
Right. Correct.
And people are like, oh, well, you might be telegraphing when you bring it. It doesn't matter. Hey, it doesn't matter. I watched Baltimore yesterday in the first half. Telegraph all day with Derrick. If Derrick Henry's in the game, he's getting the ball.
Yeah, that's
Stop
correct. If Justice Hill is in the game, they're throwing a rock.
Stop it. You don't have to do all this fancy shit. Again, the 4th down play, we'll get to it. But you don't have to do all that. You don't have to wildcat with Juice Herbert. Line up in the I formation, hand the ball, and fucking play one-on-one football. And try to win.
Okay, well, let me stop you there because it's tough because it's clear they can't win up front, right? So maybe that's why Waldron is running shit like Wildcat and doing all that. No. I will say this. The first time we see Juice Herbert can't be the Wildcat.
The Wildcat.
All right? Because is that 24 back? Oh, he's running this bitch up the middle. Yeah. It's the first time we had saw Juice all game, from my recollection. So those are the type of things. Now,
and I know he doesn't play because pass blocking is a major issue for him, right? Like he is a terrible.
I actually don't.
No one else, but no one else can block. So why not?
It's not like we got ringers back there. It's not like Rashawn Johnson is a ringer in the pass block game. Like Juice deserves probably some more time than he's getting, and we just talked about that off the top, talking about going up the middle. But we could talk about this all day long. Let's get to that fourth down speed option.
You got the picture?
No, I could put it in though. I'll put the picture up of the entire offensive line on the ground.
I've never seen it.
And last week, the Colts were who'd the Colts play last week? Green Bay?
Yeah. I believe.
They were running speed option. Green Bay was, and it was working. And they ran it a few times. I didn't see this. I was just reading about and hearing about why potentially they would have run a speed option on 4th down. And then Caleb talked about it in the post-game presser. He said, yeah, we thought we had an advantage from the film that we watched from last week, but they didn't react to it the same way this week. Right before that speed option, I had talked about getting Caleb's legs involved more. I wasn't talking about running the speed option. Not on 4th down. Nick the Quick, talk to me about your thoughts on that 4th down. And it makes it so much worse because the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down play were all horrific. And then we capped it with a speed option.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, you already brought up Cole Kmet. I don't know why he doesn't see the ball in that situation. From what I remember last year, Cole Kmet was great in the red zone for Justin Fields last year, right? Especially in the back half of the season. Caught quite a few touchdowns back there. I mean, if you want to get creative, that's fine, right? I think the Chiefs got a lot of people fooled, like the fun time situation when they get in the red zone and you start doing crazy shit. You are not that. If your line can't block, why are you asking all of them to pull and run a speed option? They're not getting any push. They're not stopping anybody. So you run a play that takes a little bit longer to develop and essentially gives all these guys a free run at your running back and your quarterback. Caleb could have kept it, same result. You pitch it back to Swift. You lose 10 yards on the 4th and goal line play. That's a first. You lose 10 yards on a 4th and goal play, right? So from a play calling perspective, yeah, I mean the whole drive was egregious. That whole situation down there was egregious.
Look, here it is.
You end it? Yeah. Is the picture?
First of all, If you go all the way back, I don't even think we got that 4th and 1 with Rashawn Johnson. I think we were short, and we got gifted the next set of downs.
Yeah.
Then we come out and we run Wildcat to Khalil Herbert up the middle.
Yep.
2nd and goal, Khalil Herbert up the middle.
That's
for
the
1
DeAndre
yard.
Carter one. Yep.
3rd and goal, up the middle, Khalil Herbert. 4th and goal, speed option.
Speed option. Like it's 1995, Tommy Frazier, Nebraska, Eric Crouch.
Eric Crouch.
Eric Crouch, I don't know who you think you got back there. Major Applewhite, I don't know who you think you got back there. It's ridiculous, man. And it's almost this guy, it's ridiculous, man. There's no way. I don't care what you saw on film last week. You got to know where you are as a football team. This is not the play you called there. You are not that. You need to get some blocking to do that. You need to have competent offensive linemen. As a coach, you have to understand your strengths and weaknesses. When you're down there, run the little play action, roll out, hit commit in the flat. You're good to go. It's butter. That's it.
Also, look, I know what the analytics say. It's a go for it. I get that. But when you know offensively, because overall it was a good drive to get down there.
Yeah.
And offensively, you know you're not getting any push up front. First drive, the drives before that, missed field goal to open the game, punt, interception. Then you finally get down there. If you don't feel confident, very confident in a play, take the 3. I'm not mad at taking the 3 in that spot. Just get some, because it's a backbreaker, momentum-wise and mentally-wise, when you have a solid drive and then you get stuffed 4 straight times on the goal line. It's early enough in the game where I'm not mad if you take 3 points there.
Well,
I hate all 4. I don't hate all 4 calls, but to run 3 runs up the middle in a row when we haven't been getting pushed the first 3 weeks and then run a speed option, that's just, I can't stand the speed option call. So
roll out Caleb and throw it to Cole.
There at some point needs to be some type of rollout situation with Caleb, because he can use his legs. He's shown that. So that was what I was getting at.
Cole Kmet is a great receiving tight end in the red zone. Also, let's talk about losing 10 yards there and what else that does when you turn the ball over, right? It's a difference between giving them the ball on the goal line in their own end zone where you could potentially get in safety, or giving them daylight and room to breathe. So losing all those yards on that play, it helps them out again because it puts them in a situation where Richardson's coming out there and he's not up against the goal line. That's the type of guy you want up against the goal line, because he's going to give you one and you're going to take it back to the house. So not only do you call the wrong play that doesn't get you 6, you call a play that gives them back 10 yards and gives them better field position. That's why you can't call that play, because it not working isn't just losing points. You're giving them back field position, because that's a play that if it doesn't work, you lose yards. That doesn't get stuffed at the line of scrimmage. And then again, when it makes it worse, and we'll put the picture up with the video of this, that every single lineman is on their ass. Linemen are supposed to be putting people on their ass. They're supposed to be collecting pancakes, not ending a play on the ground. And that's symbolic of this whole year. If you watch a lot of Bears players, we have a lot of Bears players, our linemen end up on the ground. It's a problem. Listen, man, I will talk about this forever. If you cannot protect your quarterback, you cannot win in this league. New England won 6 Super Bowls by making sure that Brady was upright. And if you gave up a sack, you didn't see the next Sunday.
Yeah, they gotta figure that out, man.
You have to figure it out. You can't do anything.
The entire podcast could just be talking about the offensive line and the offensive line play.
You can't do. And I think if you were to ask all quarterbacks in the NFL, hey, would I rather have the fancy receiver or a fucking dependable left tackle? They're all going to take hey, I'll figure it out. I'll get the ball to somebody. I just can't be on my ass. Nothing has time to develop for the Bears. I mean, guys are back there right away. There's no initial push. You're not getting beat on swim moves and stunts and all this. They're beating you straight up. We're beating you at the point of attack. Watch some of that. How many times are Bears players moving backwards on pass blocks? How many times are they moving backwards on run blocks where you're supposed to be running forward? You can't pass block. You can't run block. Usually you can do one of the two. They can't pass block or run block. And, like, I want to get on polls as far as, like, hey, you know, but hey, Darnell Wright's a first-round pick. So you have Tevin Jenkins is a second-round pick. You're failing on these guys right now. So listen, man, that's the problem, and that won't fix itself. You can't scheme around bad line play. You can't do it. You really can't. That's a problem. That's a problem for the next 15 weeks. I don't know how you fix that.
Yeah. Couple of bad picks from Caleb.
Whatever.
As well. But yeah, this isn't about that. I agree.
He's running for his life, man. You're going to throw bad picks. Anybody will. If quarterbacks are under pressure all the time, things are moving. It's already moving fast for him. This is the NFL. This is his third game. Things are already moving fast, right? As an offensive coordinator, as a coaching staff, you need to slow it down for your rookie quarterback. You need to give them things they can handle. You need to get them into a rhythm. That's why you see a lot of teams come out, a couple short passes, get you into the rhythm. We're not necessarily as focused on scoring a touchdown in the first and second drives as we are starting to establish some type of identity with our quarterback and up front. You can't do that because on the first play of the game, he's running for his life. Second play of the game, he's running for his life. Third play of the game, he's running for his life. And by the second quarter, he's just playing hero ball. You start to anticipate the rush. You know it's coming. So even when you have a clean pocket, you still feel pressure.
Well
Not
said.
too many guys can overcome that.
And that's a perfect segue into Matt LaFleur around the Shield, the NFL, and talking about Malik Willis and the Green Bay Packers. Because Malik Willis can't hold Caleb Williams' jockstrap, can't tie his Nikes up, and Matt LaFleur has Malik Willis playing ball. This is 2 straight weeks now. Malik Willis has looked serviceable. A guy that we thought had no business even being in the NFL has looked serviceable. He opened the game on the road in Tennessee. 2 30-yard completions, a couple runs, and they scored. They went up 7-0 in 2 minutes and 10 seconds or something like that. First couple minutes of the game, it was 7-0. And I'm watching closely because I got money on the Titans, which is unbelievable. But we'll get to that. Matt LaFleur, what have we always said, Nick? The most important people on your football team are your quarterback, your left tackle, and an edge. And then as the years have gone on, it's like, I think the offensive coordinator is the second most important. I'm starting to think, Nick, the offensive mind in the building is the most important guy on the field. I'm waiting for some of these offensive coordinators to start asking for head coaching dollars. You know what? Keep that fucking head coaching title. I don't even want that. Just give me this. Just give me the $6 million, $6.5, $7.5 million per. You can keep the HC title and let me focus on the offense because it is that important. Let me focus on developing these quarterbacks. Because if you look around the league, Matt LaFleur is one of those ones. One of those guys, top 3, top 4 coach in the NFL, offensively can scheme you into W's. He's done it 2 weeks in a row. Yeah. Okay, we got to run the ball 60 times. No problem. We'll do that. Here you go. We get it done. We get the win. Next week, they think we're going to run it a bunch because we just did that last week. But I'm going to come out on the first 2 drives and throw it down the field and have Malik have easy throws for 2+ 30-yard completions. No problem. I'm going to scheme that up. I'm going to put that into the script on the first drive. Sam Darnold has the Vikings being talked about as if they're the best team in the NFL. We will find out if that's true, but they just dusted off the Texans.
Yeah, smacked them.
Completely dusted them off. And that's coming off of a win against the San Francisco 49ers, who are sure a little banged up. We'll get to them as well. Coming into the year, we talked about the Niners not being as deep. They have McCaffrey, Debo, Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. Juwan Jennings now is one of those ones as well. But if one of those guys goes down, I don't know. I didn't know the backup to McCaffrey till week 1. I don't know the rest of the guys in that room offensively, so they were very top-heavy in their room. They're now dealing with that now. But Kevin O'Connell has Sam Darnold looking like a guy. And I sent this through the group chat. I saw a tweet. I did not realize this. Sam Darnold is younger than Joe Burrow. Let me repeat that. Sam Darnold, New York Jets Sam Darnold, Carolina Panthers Sam Darnold, San Francisco 49er Sam Darnold, Minnesota Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold is younger than Joe Burrow. Go look it up if you don't believe me. It's months. But yes, he's younger than Joe Burrow. I couldn't believe that when I saw it. Kevin O'Connell has that man balling. We know what Andy Reid does for Patrick Mahomes. This is about scheme. The NFL is about scheme. And if you can't coach up your guys, doesn't matter how talented they are, they're going to fail. Period, point blank. You have to be the 1%ers to overcome that type of just play-to-play game, week-to-week game plans that are not conducive to your talents and working around what you can do on the field. So, Nick, I'm starting to feel that the number one most important people in the building is the offensive mind, the quarterback, then the left tackle, then the edge, then the head coach. It's starting to get there because what I'm seeing offensively out of some of these guys that we were essentially writing off for dust, if you look who's holding the clipboard, it's some special offensive guys.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I still think that no matter how well you can coach, if the line's collapsing on you left and right, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, you might be able to find some scheme advantages to that. But yeah, I understand where you're going ultimately. Yes, for sure. You need. But
you're also the guy, you're determining if the people up front are good enough.
Yeah, well, 100%, right? We talk about Shanahan. Shanahan has Trent Williams. That makes things a lot easier for you. But yeah, absolutely. I'm not even trying. I don't want to make it sound like I'm disagreeing. I 1,000% agree with you. You need to have a competent play caller who understands the strengths and weaknesses of their team and draws up a game plan around it, right? So you talk about Andy Reid, you talk about Shanahan, even going back to Mike Shanahan, there's a reason why they can plug and play running backs. They understand how to get these guys, in space and to take advantage of what they're good at. 100%, man. Like I don't disagree. And when you see the opposite of it, that's what you see in the Bears, right? What unlocked Lamar, right? Bringing in Monken and having him run an offense that's suitable to Lamar because what they were doing before didn't work. If you look at the Bills in the back half of the year, right, when they moved on from Ken Dorsey and brought in Joe Brady, it completely changed everything, right? Even when you have a Josh, because we remember at them, you have a Josh Allen. And we've talked about this before, it's tempting to throw the ball 50 times when you have a Josh Allen. Joe Brady goes in there and says, hey, we have to run the ball, right? We have to be able to establish the run. That is important to us. We can't have Josh do anything if we can't establish the run. So understanding that, being in your quarterback's ear, having that relationship with him. We watch Hard Knocks. I didn't see Shane Waldron say anything, right? And the conversations with Eberflus and Caleb Williams were extremely awkward, right? He has no pulse on what's going on there. So I hate to keep bringing it back to the Bears, but yeah, it's right there. The recipe, the formula, all that is right there for you. And too many teams don't pay attention to it. And that's how you ruin young quarterbacks. So yeah, LaFleur, understanding last week, hey, Malik Willis, he wasn't expecting to play this week. We got to run a game plan that's going to get him comfortable. They threw the ball 17 times last week. This week, throws it a little bit more, allows Malik to take a couple more shots that he didn't allow him to take last week, but they still ran the ball 37 times for 188 yards. That is commitment, right? That makes it so easy for Malik because when he drops backs and looks out there, defenses have to respect their ability to run. So he's seeing a little bit of a cleaner pocket.
It all starts
He's seeing
there.
less defensive backs out there, and that's where it goes from. Yeah, establish the run. And LaFleur understands that. That's a commitment. Again, teams that the pass has become so prevalent in the NFL that there's a huge opportunity to take advantage of running the football. Look at what Baltimore did to Dallas yesterday. Look what everybody's done to Dallas this year.
Yeah,
You can't stop the run. You can't stop the run. Dallas is giving up 5.5 yards per carry. That's epic. Right?
Yeah.
So run the ball. Understanding that. I don't care if I have Patrick Mahomes, Larry Fitzgerald, and fucking Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
If you're giving up 5.5 yards a carry, I am going to run the ball on you every single time until you can stop. Talk about the Bears. Teams know that you don't need to rush. You don't need to send any blitzes. Rush 4, beat them one-on-one. Like, it's pretty straightforward here.
I got a hot take for you. Couple weeks down the road, maybe 4 or 5 weeks from now, Cowboys are 2-5, yeah? Something of this sort.
Without a doubt.
3-6.
They can't stop that's bad run defense.
Micah Parsons
Oh, God.
will not be participating in weekly games. I don't know if Dak can do that now that he's got paid. Of course, he has to play, but
He has to.
the big fella doesn't have a deal yet. And you can see they've been talking to him after games. He is beyond frustrated. They showed him on the sideline. He's beyond frustrated. He doesn't get to play his natural position because they try to move him around all over the place to make something happen. He can't.
Yeah.
Can't do
Wherever
anything.
They feel that the play needs to be made, they put him there.
They put him there. He's just like a plug and play fill.
Go play middle linebacker. Yeah.
Instead of like the Bosa brothers just continue to come off the edge those dudes almost Nick almost just kicks it till third down.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's third down?
It's third down now.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. Okay, we're going to get to it. Let's get to it then. So that is extremely unfortunate for him and what they got him doing. I'd be very interested to see how his motivation looks, how his attitude looks comes in the middle of the season when he doesn't have a deal. The team is clearly going nowhere, and I just can't see him bringing it and risking getting injured. I would be shocked if Micah Parsons played more than 12 or 13 games this year.
Yeah, no reason.
And he should sit and most likely will sit. Stay tuned on that. We talked about Sam Darnold. We talked about Coach of the Year potentially to kick off the season in Matt LaFleur. Nick wrote in the rundown, put a fork in him. Dallas Cowboys, Miami Dolphins, Cleveland Browns, Russell Wilson, which will lead us into the Justin Fields talk.
Yeah, I'm putting a fork in the Dolphins for the year. I think Tua's obviously going to miss 3 more games. It's going to be tough for them to come back. Cowboys, we just talked about. If you can't stop the run, forget about it. Especially with Saquon in the division now, right? With the Browns, the division's just going to be tough, man. You know, Cincinnati is going to bounce back. We could talk about the Steelers at 3-0 right now. They seem to have found the winning formula. And Russell Wilson, hey, man, it's a great career. Made a lot of money.
Phenomenal career.
It's probably done.
Super Bowl champ.
We'll never see the field again.
He should. And if he wants, he could be a backup in the league for the next 5 seasons. Easily.
Yep.
So it is what it is. I got to pull up. Deshaun Watson had 8 sacks against the New York Giants, who are, I wouldn't say they're threatening in the least. They're not a threatening ball club. We'll put it like that. So Stefanski is a guy offensively that is one of those guys.
Yeah.
We've seen that throughout the years. So,
but he can't do it with Watson.
Yeah, a lot of questions. Bad situation, man, overall. It's just
tough division to not be able to figure it out in. Yeah.
And we talked about it before. When you're off the field, shit is noisy.
Yep.
It's very difficult to be quiet on the field. It gets noisy on the field as well. But Let's talk about Justin Fields. Yeah, go ahead.
That's what I was going to say. I know we're short on time, but I want to make sure that we do give Justin Fields to talk about giving flowers. Listen, man. Go ahead. I'll let you set it up.
No, go ahead. There's nothing to set up. He went into the season where Tomlin refused to name the starting quarterback. It was pretty known throughout the league that Russell Wilson was going to get the nod. For whatever reason, I'm not sure. Because going into the year, it was very obvious that Russell Wilson was an insurance policy. They're paying him $1.5 million. We already know what Russell Wilson is as a quarterback, and he's on a 1 year. It was clear to me that we need to figure out as a Steelers organization, is Justin Fields our guy? Because he's going to be up for a deal. He's going to want a new deal if he is the guy. So we need to find out if he's the guy. Let's play him, see if we got a guy that we think we can build around, and then go from there. Is the second chapter actually the one that unlocks the future longevity of him having a full-time NFL quarterback career? He wasn't getting the opportunity at first. Russell Wilson pulls a hammy. Whatever happened. Allegedly. Something was fishy around that, by the way. Tomlin
wasn't buying it.
Tomlin didn't seem too pleased with Russell Wilson when they asked him about him after week one. But now
worry about the guys who are here. He just gave
he gave him he was very edgy about that.
Yeah.
Justin Fields now comes in though. They're 3-0. A team that, didn't have a lot of expectations. The division we know is one of the best in football, or is it? Well, I don't know. We talked about the NFC North being one of the best, and that's looking like it's coming to fruition, with the Bears even being really bad. So question marks there, but they're 3-0. Justin Fields looked sensational yesterday. He's playing within himself. He's using his legs. He's not only using his legs. He's using them when he needs to. He's making plays. Ball's moving. They're scoring. That's it.
They're winning.
Now,
defense is phenomenal.
The defense is lights out. We talked about the first 2 weeks of them benefiting from a +5 on the turnover differential, but they got guys over there defensively. And when we talk about Patrick Queen, he's unbelievable.
What a signing.
Cam Hayward, he's a problem. Joey Porter Jr. is a problem playing corner. He's awesome. Minka is the man, Bama guy. We know how he gets down.
They got guys, man.
This guy, TJ Watt, bruh.
The best non-quarterback in the NFL.
I don't know where he gets this motor, bro.
He's awesome.
Every play, he is on motherfuckers' ass, bro.
And it's always in the fourth quarter when it matters. Yeah.
It's like
he's a closer. He's a defensive closer.
He's a closer. Mariano Rivera.
Closer. Yeah, he is Mariano. Yes.
It is clear towards the end of the game, he flat out has more juice than you.
Yeah.
You are on empty. I am not. That's what it looks like when TJ Watt lines up in the fourth quarter. Every single game for years on end now. I have more juice than you at the end of the game.
Yep.
Period.
Taking your guy down. Yep.
My motor is better than yours. I want it more in the fourth because the amount of close games the Pittsburgh Steelers have played the last four seasons, every week.
Every week.
I can't remember the last time
they don't blow anybody out.
They
were losing for most of this game. Yeah.
The Steelers winning by 10 points this week is a blowout for them.
Blowout.
That was a blowout. TJ Watt is
for most of
unbelievable. So shout out TJ. Number 90 is different.
And they asked Tomlin after. Yeah, go ahead.
To get back to Justin, he's playing ball. Go ahead, Nick.
He's playing ball. And they asked Tomlin after the game. Again, Tomlin is always non-committal. They're like, they asked him something about Justin being the starter going forward. Tomlin said it very simply. He's doing what we ask him to do and playing winning football. It's that simple. Go out there and win. That's what I guarantee in that locker room every single day. I guarantee you that, dude, go out there and just win. I don't care if it's pretty. I don't care if it makes the highlight reels. I watched that game yesterday. You can watch the Steelers game and fall asleep. Like there's nothing going on there that's too crazy or spectacular, but they just end up winning. Like I said, they were down 10-7 for most of that game. Justin makes a couple plays, puts the ball where it needs to be. The defense holds firm. Mike Tomlin doesn't make coaching mistakes. He doesn't do things that lose you the game. And now with Fields, you add in that extra level. This guy can pick us up first downs when we need it. This guy can run in for touchdowns. And we're building his confidence. Like, you could see Justin postgame, they asked him, he goes, I'm not overthinking things. I'm not overprocessing. I'm just going out there and play. I guarantee you Mike is like, hey, man, just fucking go out there and play. I had Kenny Pickett last year. I had Mason Rudolph last year. You're fine. Trust me. We'll put you in a position. Right? I've been winning with guys. I had Ben Roethlisberger was dead the past 5 seasons in Pittsburgh, and they were still winning games. It's not an accident that you don't have losing seasons over there. Like, it's just not. We have seen great teams have losing seasons. They don't do it. That's huge for Justin. I love that he's taking advantage of the opportunity. Obviously, I got a soft spot for Justin from his time in Chicago and just the whole thing. We did him dirty. I'm happy that he lands in a competent organization with a competent head coach, right? An organization that does things right way. And look, he keeps this rolling. Justin's going to be a rich man this summer. Mike can win with that. Mike can win with that.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're still not throwing the ball downfield a ton. It's still close to the line of scrimmage.
He still doesn't throw over the middle, yeah.
He threw it over the middle a little bit.
I guess that touchdown was to the middle. Yeah, that touchdown was to the middle. Yeah.
Well, and that big play across the middle.
Yeah.
The touchdown was across the middle. I mean, it was a lot of yak.
And he's throwing dimes, but he threaded that.
Four completions over 10 yards, 1 over 20 to the sideline, and yeah, I mean, he only had 6 carries. They got our guy, Mr. Get a Touch. Cordell Patterson is over there. They got some guys over there.
CPA4.
Mr. Get a Touch. Shout out Cordell Patterson.
Hey, so the standard is the standard, baby.
So yeah, man. Shout out Justin Fields and him doing his thing. Before we get out of here, Big Nick the Quick.
Oh man, you got some explaining to do.
Yeah, man. Look, I made a mistake.
Tell us what you did. Tell us what you did yesterday, man.
I was on the verge of having a huge day yesterday, and I fell into the analytics of everything. And going into the game, Tennessee seemed like the side, numbers wise, run defense wise, overall D wise. They had been playing very solid, and Levis was just turning the ball over at an alarming rate, and they couldn't respond. After I talked about it, Malik Willis went down and scored on the opening drive. Like, the script was perfect for Matt LaFleur. 30-yard pass here, 30-yard pass there, couple runs, touchdown. Green Bay's up 7-0. Well, the very next drive, Tennessee came down and scored right back, 7-7. Okay, we're in this game. Defense gets a stop. I think they gave up 3. But the defense was playing solid. Will Levis throws a pick 6 to Jair Alexander, just absolutely telegraphed an out route. I'm that man.
3 straight weeks of pick 6. No, he didn't do a pick 6 last week, but yeah, he's
2 of the 3 weeks he has a pick 6. And Jair Alexander just sat on this out route or this stop and just jumped it, no problem. Almost like he knew exactly what was coming. Pick 6. And the wind just absolutely came out of the sails. It's 17-7 now. Now we got to try to come back. And shout out my guy Raheem Palmer of The Ringer. He tweeted out, it seems as if this Bryce Young benching has made the Carolina Panthers defense better. Yeah, it does. That's how it works. When you know the offense can come out and actually potentially do something, you play a little harder on D.
Yeah.
You get a few more stops on D. That Tennessee Titans team is going to flip on Will Levis to where nobody cares because they know when the offense trots out there, they're dead as a doornail.
Yeah.
That was one thing you never saw with Justin Fields in Chicago. It wasn't like, man, no one believes in this kid and everything is dusted. That's what happened in Carolina, and that's what's going to happen in Tennessee. I saw it with my own eyes yesterday after he threw the pick 6. Everybody in the building, including the team, including the people on defense, knew they weren't going to be able to come back. So it was like, yeah, let's just go ahead and wrap this up.
He saw his head coach last week look him dead in the face and say, what the fuck are you doing? Right? Like, yeah, I think that's 3 straight weeks with 3 just egregious turnovers that happen when you are in a position to win the game or at least take a lead. And you can't do that. It's backbreaking, right? So all that to say yesterday, Sean put money on Will Levis, man, and I feel like we talk about this. We talk about it every year. There's a QB no-fly list, right? I'm very firm on this. Kirk Cousins has occupied that terminal for me for quite a while of just the no-fly list. Like I said earlier in the show, I set it up a bit. Anthony Richardson, no-fly list. Will Levis, domestic terrorist, absolutely no-fly list. These are the guys who, when I'm looking at a game, right? And I know we talk about it. I know you're big on this, and obviously anybody who's good at picking games, you look at the number, right? You try your best to look at the situation, look at the number, take your personal bias out of it, and just try to be analytical.
That's what
like
you
you
try
said.
to do. Yeah.
And we talk about that. But there's one thing that we always talk about: our eyes. What have we seen, right? And we have seen Will Levis, and we understand. I don't care if Will Levis is getting 40 against UTEP. No fly, right? You gotta hold firm on this with certain guys, right? They are just no flies. Daniel Jones, I don't care how good that looked yesterday, and it did look a little tasty, right? We know the Browns are down. New York needed a win. It's like, hey, this is a spot that we would normally take. No fly. I'll give you the biggest one. Bo Nix yesterday. Everybody in the world was on the Broncos. Like the whole entire world. I have never seen more Broncos picks than it was. I was on the Broncos. Easiest game. Everybody was on the Broncos.
You couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it because I don't know if Bo Nix can be a passenger on my flight yet. Now, he played yesterday. He played really well. But again, there's just certain guys. And again, Nix isn't quite there for me yet. But there's just certain guys that I've just seen enough. Seen enough.
What makes the sports bettors and the handicappers truly special. And sometimes I feel like I'm in this space, and sometimes, you have downswings and you feel like you can't see the board at all. But what separates the guys is when everything is pointing one way, you either stay off or you could get yourself to go the other way. And it's really just an experience, years of watching ball, and a sharp sense. Like my sharp sense was telling me, just stay off this shit. You don't have to pick this game. Pick another one.
You don't have to.
You don't have to pick this game. I understand that everything is saying, you should take Tennessee here, but you could just go another route and potentially pick a team like the Minnesota Vikings, who are at home for the second straight week and rolling. rolling. And for as good as Coleridge is, they didn't look that good against a really good D of the Bears.
They really didn't.
And then they went and saw Brian Flores, and Brian Flores was all over Coleridge and the boys. So that's what separates the guys from the guys. They stay off of the games, even though they potentially should be going that way, and then they pick the ones where they should be at, like the Denver Broncos. So
have you added him to your? Is he on your no? Do you have a no fly list to begin with? And is Will Levis on it?
I will.
Because you used to love betting on Kirk Cousins too. I remember you were for a while.
Regular season's Kirk Cousins. Yeah, no doubt. Well, I try not to have a no-fly list just because I don't want to X anybody before I really start getting into it. But, like, for example, Carolina was the side this week. You had to have heart to take that side.
Yeah, a lot.
Like, that, you have to have heart. That was the side, right? And coming up next week, you know what? I can 100% there's going to be people in line waiting to bet the Titans. So, it's tough, man. I try not to create a no-fly list, but I'd be hard-pressed to have to bet the Titans again. I'll just pass.
I won't be one of them. I will not be one of them. I will watch. Yeah, so for me, I do have the no-fly list. I have coaches on the no-fly list. Like Mike McCarthy is very close. He has to go through the scanner twice to get on my plane. I'll put it that way. You know what I'm saying? He gets the pat down. Yeah. He gets the private screening. So I gotta look real close, right? Because I got burned on Dallas last week too. So it's just like, you know what, man? I don't know. I guess for me, why put myself through certain guys if I don't have to? Like for me, why would I put myself through the agony of putting my money on Will Levis, knowing that I just don't know what's gonna happen? And if it doesn't go my way, the biggest thing for me, if it doesn't go my way, I know afterwards I'm gonna beat myself up. Like Nick,
exactly.
You know better.
That's the biggest thing.
I'm sure that's what you're feeling right now. It's some strong Monday morning quarterback gambling stuff, right? Where it's just like, man, I can't believe I took my hard-earned money and put it on Will Levis after seeing what I've seen for 2 weeks.
After
right?
seeing what I've seen, it's unacceptable.
After seeing what I've seen, it's unacceptable. So that's how my no fly list works. But I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Because when you said you had real, I thought you just had pickup money. When you said real,
no, I had real cash.
Greenbacks. I was like, oh man.
You see, I had the boys on there.
You had the ducats. Yeah,
the ducats
like, man,
on Tennessee.
You could have given that to the Salvation Army. You could have done a lot else with that money.
I was really close to having a big day. Titans scooped me up, but we bounced back and we move forward. That's gonna do it for No Catch Up NFL Week 3 in the wraps. For Big Nick the Quick. I'm your host, Sean. Make sure you subscribe, man. Tell a homie to tell a friend. Pass along the pod. We're back. We're coming weekly. I'm gonna chop up some of these clips right now. Get them up ASAP. No Catch Up Sports Talk in Chicago. Lock in with us.